The Extraterrestrial Terror of Sherry and Andy, a cosmic horror tale. Andy could feel his heart racing as he drove his car down the deserted roads of the countryside. His mind was constantly playing the events of the previous night. Even though he was a grown man, the thought of aliens still haunted him like it was yesterday, though it had been several years since he had encountered one. Sherry was a new friend of Andy. He met her through a common friend, and they often hung out together. They bonded over their shared love for sci-fi movies and books. Andy was excited to be driving down to Sherry's cabin in the woods. It was going to be a weekend filled with games, movies, and snacks. A perfect way to unwind after a tough week at work. Sherry owned a secluded cabin located deep within the woods, surrounded by dense forests on all sides. The driveway leading to her cabin was narrow and winding, with leaves and fallen tree trunks scattered all over. The cabin itself was quaint and cozy, with a wooden exterior and a towering chimney. As Andy reached the cabin, he noticed that Sherry had left the door open. He parked his car beside the cabin and walked up to the entrance, peering inside. The cabin was dimly lit, with candles flickering on almost every surface. It looked like Sherry had gone all out with the spooky ambience. "Andy!" Sherry called out to him. "I didn't hear you. Come on in." Andy's eyes swept over the room, taking in the creepy decor. "Wow, this looks amazing. Did you do all this?" Sherry chuckled. "Yeah, I thought we could watch horror movies and have a bonfire tonight. I even brought some marshmallows." Andy smiled, feeling at ease in Sherry's presence. They settled down on the couch, both feeling relaxed and ready to spend the weekend together. As the night progressed, they played various horror-themed games and watched a bunch of scary movies, with Sherry making popcorn and Andy making drinks in the kitchen. Several times during the night, Andy thought he saw a fleeting shadow or heard a whisper, but he couldn't put his finger on what was causing the feeling. He simply dismissed it, blaming his imagination. As the clock approached midnight, Sherry suggested that they head outside and start the bonfire. Andy readily agreed, feeling a bit hot from all the movie watching. The two of them walked out onto the porch, with Sherry grabbing her coat and Andy bundling up in a blanket. The night was chilly, with a slight breeze rustling the trees. But the fire was warm, and the flames danced in unison to the crackling of the wood. Andy couldn't help but feel like something was off. Something wasn't quite right about the woods around them. He couldn't explain the feeling, but it was like there was something lurking in the shadows, watching them. As the night wore on, they both grew sleepy, and the fire slowly died down. Andy suggested they head back inside. As they climbed into bed, Andy tried to get comfortable, but the strange feeling wouldn't go away. He tossed and turned, his mind filled with thoughts of aliens and creatures lurking in the woods. He was about to drift off to sleep when he heard a strange noise coming from outside their window. It sounded like a low growl. And then he heard what sounded like footsteps. Heavy, looming footsteps. The sound grew closer and closer, and both Andy and Sherry sat upright in bed. As they looked out the window, they saw a dark figure emerging from the woods. It was tall and bulky, with glowing red eyes and elongated fingers. And it was getting closer. Andy felt a wave of terror wash over him. He recognized the creature. It was the same one he had seen years ago during his run-in with aliens. He turned to Sherry, hoping to see her calm and collected, but she was just as wide-eyed as he was. As the creature reached their window, Andy stared in horror as it reached out an arm and smashed through the glass, snatching Sherry out of bed. Andy lunged for her, but it was too late. The creature had taken her, and had disappeared into the woods. Andy searched the woods for hours on end, but he never found Sherry, nor the creature that had taken her. With a bruised heart and a terrified mind, he eventually gave up searching and went back to his car. As he drove away, he knew that he would never be the same again. And he would never step foot into those woods again. Years later, people found a strange and ominous plaque in the spot where Sherry's cabin once stood. It read, "Beware the creatures from beyond the stars, for they follow you even when you think you're free." And with those words, Andy realized that he had never been free of that dread and terror. And he never would be again.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.